Hey guys, let's get more news about Lakers, but before that, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Hornets set to face Lakers with Luka Doncic in rescheduled game. The Los Angeles Lakers and visiting Charlotte Hornets will return from the All-Star break earlier than previously planned when the teams meet for a makeup game Wednesday. Originally scheduled for January 9th, that game was postponed amid the ongoing wildfires in the Los Angeles area. While the Hornets originally were set to face the Lakers with Anthony Davis, the rescheduled game pits them with a different challenge in Luka Doncic, who was acquired by Los Angeles on February 2nd. Doncic has played 2 games with his new team, both against the Utah Jazz. He scored 14 points in a home victory over the Jazz on February 10th and 16 points in a road loss last Wednesday. Both games came after he missed a month and a half with a calf injury. Despite the loss last week, Los Angeles has won 10 of its past 12 games, with star LeBron James so focused on the 2 months remaining in the season, he decided to sit out Sunday's All-Star festivities with soreness in his left foot and ankle. James, who is continuing to build on-court chemistry with Doncic, is listed as questionable for the Wednesday contest. To add a caliber player like Doncic, a generational talent like that to our franchise, it's something that's given me energy, James said during All-Star Weekend. I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do. We only had 2 games so far, and I believe he's been on a minutes restriction since he came back from the calf. As he continues to get in form, I think we could be really good going down the stretch. But we'll see what happens. The Hornets limped into the break on a 3-game losing streak, while dropping 9 of the last 10 contests and 11 of 13 going back to January 22nd. Included in those defeats was a 112-107 home loss to the Lakers on January 27th. In that previous meeting against Los Angeles, Charlotte's LaMelo Ball departed after 9 minutes with a left ankle injury. Ball has played in just 2 games since, including one on February 10th against the Brooklyn Nets, where he left early with a right ankle injury. He is listed as probable for Wednesday. Not selected as an All-Star this season, despite averages of 27.3 points, 7.2 assists, and 5.1 rebounds in 33 games, Ball instead has been getting much-needed recovery time. The Hornets have lost 17 of the 18 games when Ball has been out, making the presence of the Los Angeles area native vital for the Hornets' chances. The Hornets and Lakers had agreed on a deal before the trade deadline, but Charlotte big man Mark Williams failed his physical in Los Angeles, nixing the swap that would have sent Cam Reddish and rookie Dalton Knecht to Charlotte. Williams is listed as probable to face the Lakers. If he does take the court, it would be his first game action since the deal was called off. We have always held great respect for Mark's talent, work ethic, and character, the Hornets said in a statement. We are thrilled to see him rejoin our roster as a dynamic presence at the starting center position. His return strengthens our team, and we look forward to the impact he will make on and off the court. Williams scored 11 points with 8 rebounds in last month's loss to the Lakers and struggled to guard Davis, who had 42 points and 23 rebounds. Davis was sent to the Dallas Mavericks in the Doncic deal. Adam Silver reacts to Luka Doncic trade. The Luka Doncic-Anthony Davis blockbuster trade has sent shockwaves across the NBA, altering the future of both the Los Angeles Lakers and Dallas Mavericks. Even with the dust still settling, the move continues to fuel speculation, particularly regarding the league's role behind the scenes. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver addressed the trade during All-Star Weekend, claiming he was just as blindsided as everyone else. I was surprised when I heard about the trade. I did not know that Luka Doncic was potentially a player that was about to be traded. That was news to me, Silver said. I followed it as a fan from that standpoint. And as I've said before, that's not the kind of confidential information that's generally shared with the league in advance. That statement should have put the speculation to rest. But given the magnitude of the trade, skepticism remains. Doncic wasn't just another all-star on the move, he was a 25-year-old generational talent, a player many assumed would spend the next decade in Dallas. The idea that the NBA's front office had no idea such a massive deal was in the works was a tough sell for some fans and analysts. Whenever a Lakers trade shakes up the league, it's impossible not to think back to the infamous Chris Paul veto in 2011. Back then, David Stern, who served as NBA commissioner before Silver, famously blocked a deal that would have sent Chris Paul to the Lakers. The NBA, which owned the New Orleans Hornets at the time, ruled that the trade wasn't in the team's best interest. Small market owners also pushed back, fearing the Lakers would form another powerhouse. For years, the Paul veto has remained one of the most controversial decisions in league history. Stern later revealed that had Lakers GM Mitch Kupchak not panicked and traded Lamar Odom to Dallas, the league would have been open to restructuring the deal. But once Odom was gone, the Lakers' ability to make a competitive trade package disappeared, and the veto stood. Unlike in 2011, the NBA didn't own the Mavericks, meaning Silver had no direct authority to block the deal based on trade fairness. However, the league still has a vested interest in competitive balance, and if Doncic's departure was seen as tipping the scales too far in the Lakers' favor, there's an argument that the NBA could have stepped in behind closed doors. Silver has always taken a different approach from Stern, preferring to let teams operate freely unless there's a clear violation of league rules or competitive integrity. If the Mavericks truly believed that flipping Doncic for an aging Davis was in their best long-term interest, Silver wasn't going to interfere no matter how shocking the deal looked from the outside. Whether Dallas will regret the decision remains to be seen. If Davis stays healthy and helps the Mavericks reshape their identity around defense and versatility, they may have justified the gamble. But if Doncic thrives in Los Angeles, forming an unstoppable duo with LeBron James while Dallas struggles to replace his offensive brilliance, the criticism will only get louder. For now, Silver has distanced himself from any suggestion of league intervention, but the shadow of Stern's veto will always loom over major trades, especially when the Lakers are involved. The NBA has changed, but the politics of superstar movement remain as complicated as ever. Rich Paul claims Lakers' Luka Doncic-Anthony Davis trade would not have happened if he knew about it. On February 1, no one could have foreseen that the entire landscape of the NBA was going to change. That was when Shams Charania of ESPN posted that the Los Angeles Lakers had pulled off a trade for Luka Doncic, with the Dallas Mavericks inexplicably giving up on the 25-year-old star that led them to the NBA Finals last year. Going to the Mavs in exchange were Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick, a return that was laughed off as not being close to enough for someone of Doncic's caliber. The trade talks between the two parties were so tight-lipped that no one outside of that inner circle knew of the deal that was in the works before Charania tweeted out the biggest bombshell of all time. Now, Rich Paul, founder of Clutch Sports, the agency that represents Davis and LeBron James, said that had he known, the trade probably would have never materialized. 99.9% of the time, I'm going to know what's going on. The one time I didn't was the one time we all didn't. I'm glad I didn't know because it probably wouldn't happened if you did know, Paul said in an appearance on Gil's Arena. Rich Paul on the Luka AD trade, 99.9% of the time, I'm going to know what's going on. The one time I didn't was the one time we all didn't. I'm glad I didn't know because it probably wouldn't happened if you did know. Hat tip at Pickup Hoop, Paul is one of the most respected agents in the game, and he is always on the lookout for what's best for his clients. Had he caught wind of the trade talks, then there certainly would have been a discussion between him and Davis and whether he would embrace a trade to the Mavericks. James most certainly would have been looped into the talks as well, considering how prominent of a voice he is both for the Lakers and for Clutch Sports. But it did seem like the stars simply aligned for this blockbuster trade to materialize. Doncic is now a member of the Lakers, and the purple and gold now have their foundational star for the next decade or so. And you, fan? What do you think of Rich Paul's situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.